Hi, everybody. Hello and welcome. Welcome. And first things first, my name is Patrick, I guess. And also, my best friend, Risha, the other half of the Tranquilities podcast, uploaded her first video yesterday. Go check it out. It would mean a lot to me. I love her. She's my best friend. Also, the third episode of the Tranquilities podcast is up, both linked in the description box below. And today I am learning how to set intentions. I had the energy oracle cards because I saw them in the thumbnail of a video, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love the energy oracle cards," and I haven't used them in a minute. So, you know, there's no real intention today. There's no specific intention. Um, just I guess, like a lot of times, do I ever have an intention? Sometimes I do. Like if I come on with the spread, then more often than not, I have an intention. Or if it's like, yeah, I have intentions. I set intentions sometimes. Sometimes I do random things. I should be more intent. Hostilities. No, oh, it is hostilities. With yin and yang on the bottom of the deck and Uriel. Metatron, sorry. Metatron popped into my mind. I was like, no, it's not Metatron, it's Uriel. It was Metatron. Crown chakra, sixth chakra. Hostilities in yin and yang. And the third eye. I said crown and then sixth. I feel like that could be some projection. In some ways, it's like how we think of or view ourselves. Sometimes we receive that, we project it. Does the third eye transmit, or does it only receive? I think it's default receptive, but it's feeling like a projector in a movie. I don't know. Today man holding a heart with the sun. Okay. At the kite. All right. I don't know what other deck. Oh, I don't know, actually. I haven't used one of these babies in a long time, and I feel like reading today. So I'm going to use the Tarot Apocalypsis. I'm going to find my glasses. I'm going to put them on. And I'll get an energy oracle card, and then I'll clarify it with the Tarot Apocalypsis, and I'll read from both of the books, I guess. I guess I'll put reversals in this, too, because Camuel and the man holding a heart. Because why not, Life ain't always upright. Oops. All right, let's see what comes out. There we go. What was this? Appreciation in reverse. With the bottom of the deck being the broken heart in reverse. What's most unfortunate, I guess, about living life is that when we are decent people, when we're thoughtful and careless and open-hearted and vulnerable, and then someone takes advantage of us, a lot of times it seems that it reflects poorly on us, to us, rather than it being an observation of the fact that not everyone is necessarily in a position to be able to or to desire to treat a kind, open-hearted, generous person in a way that doesn't take advantage of them. And that's almost what this is. That's almost what this is feeling like. It's like we can't fully appreciate our own. I guess I'll say light. I don't want to say light. But it's like maybe we haven't been in a position to fully appreciate our better nature because we've always been disregarded or taken advantage of. And again, how that somehow. Ooh, Three of Swords. Okay, yeah. Works this. It's like we view ourselves a certain type of way. It's like, oh, I'm never gonna do that. Or there's the like everyone's the same. People are like this, people are like that. But I feel like it's led us to not be able to appreciate certain things about ourselves that we could really stand to appreciate, honestly. Hanged Man. So there's a 3 and then there's a 12, which is another 3. March 12th, that's a Pisces, right? That's like third decan of Pisces, early into the third decan of Pisces. I'm gonna get one more card. Actually, this will be it. Bottom of the deck is Judgment. Oh. Where's my phone? I'm gonna read this from the book. Doesn't this have a name? Da 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 da. Doesn't this have a name? I don't know why that song is still in my head. And isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it love? Isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it love? Maybe that was it. Maybe there was a period of time for a while where there was a lack of appreciation. And it's time for us to come into, if you're on a journey of healing, if healing is one of the intentions that you have, then it's likely that if you, I don't want to say struggle with, but if it was your experience that you had a lot of relationships in which you gave maybe more than you should have to that person or to a situation, right? Maybe it was a series of jobs where you put your all in and you're not appreciated and you get burnout. And it's like, what am I burnt out for? And it alters you in some way to the point where you're not able to fully appreciate those amazing qualities that you have. And on your journey of healing, one of the like your end result or the healed you that you're coming into is less restricted, I guess, in those ways. Oh my gosh, I was like feeling it in my heart chakra too before I came on. I was like, what is this? And so what you're going to do is you're going to manifest situations to get you to appreciate it. And sometimes that may come through someone else appreciating that within you, or it may come through you being asked to push to be open and vulnerable with someone who actually appreciates that openness and that vulnerability, with someone who can also meet it in some way that maybe it wasn't able to be met with before. And that'll be the stimulus that triggers that sort of healing within you. And so I guess you would need to be open enough to allow that to happen. And then that like stranger than fiction, I'm real line just popped back into my mind. Because again, it feels like the board was so set, the pattern was so established that you would have never necessarily expected to find someone who can handle or receive or interact with you at full capacity. But again, like if you're on a journey of healing, then your end result probably involves a certain amount of healing from that. And so somewhere along the way, you're going to have to learn to be open. And it's probably going to be encouraged by a situation outside of you, right? Because we can do so much within ourselves, but then there comes the point in time to put it into practice. And to like actualize it and cement it and things of that nature, right? So, to the book. I'll start with this one on the bottom. Indecision is in reverse under this broken heart. That's like a 2 of Swords, 2 of Wands, crossroads, both mentally. It's two of everything. Like the Two of Swords, Wands, and Pentacles, it's like it's a crossroads energy. It's a balancing act. It's indecision. It's should I do it or should I not? With a Two of Cups, I feel like that's being met with the opportunity to be more fully recognized and appreciated. And something happens when we close certain cycles within our lives. Hey, Mimi. I'm doing all right today. I'm good today. Um, I just need to do some stuff that I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I should know. I'm looking for work. And I'm like, I feel like I know where I'm supposed to be like applying or where I'm supposed to be looking. I feel like it was a thought. I feel like I saw something somewhere, but I can't remember what it was. And so it'll come to me. But I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you? Um, and with that Two of Cups, it's like you're going to be met fully in that authenticity. And it's all a part of the process. So don't be too hard on yourself when things sort of come up. This is number 9. It says, what this say? Broken heart is grief and loss. So the broken heart reversed marks a time of renewal and hope. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. Oh my gosh. It's so beautiful. The broken heart reversed marks a time of renewal and hope. The pain and trauma are behind you now, and you can trust that greater joy is on the way. Whatever has happened to hurt you in the past, you're now free to move on. The universe has much better things in store for you. So finish letting go of any residual grief and open your life to your new self-loving intention. Joyous connections will follow. I release the pain of the past and live with compassion for myself. Love heals and renews me now is the affirmation. And I love that. I love that. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. And then appreciation is 15. Or it could be 51 since it's in reverse, I guess. A 9 in reverse is a 6, potentially. You're great. Been watching this guy's channel called Coaching Light Bible Study. I did not know that this is a 13-month year. I don't even too much know what that means. What does that mean? That's interesting, though, because 13 has been a thing. When was the last 13-month year that we had? Because I guess that's also interesting. So 15, appreciation in reverse. Appreciation is choosing gratitude. The appreciation card reversed is warning that you're missing some important opportunities. You've lost your sense of gratitude and have gotten caught up in the prickly brambles of negativity and possibly even despair. Stop focusing on what you don't have, even if it seems to be a lot. Instead, find something to appreciate about yourself and your life. Choose to focus on the little things with gratitude and acknowledgement. Your refusal to appreciate even the small pleasures will cause them to drop from your hands and keep you stuck in some of your problem patterns, causing you to lament your lack even more. Let go of this negative focus and spend some time every day acknowledging what you have to be grateful for. Remember, the more you appreciate your life, the more your life will appreciate and value. The affirmation here is, I choose to see and appreciate the beauty and value around me. I increase my gratitude every day, and I am attracting even more to be grateful for. Turn lamp brightness to 100%, please. There we go.
I set the lamp to 100%.
It was 2014 or 2015. Okay. Yeah, I have no clue what a 13-month year is. 2014 or 2015. That's interesting. What happened? I was supposed to. Oh my gosh, that was the first time I got kicked out of school because I was a depressed mess. Oh, I made a post 2 years ago on 4/4/2019. I got the reminder on Facebook. I was like, me. Hold on, wait, I'll find it because it was so funny. Where are you? Hello, it was on 4-4. Did I not? No, I had to screenshot it, right? Did I delete it? I shouldn't have. One second. That was before. Oh well. Anyway, the memory was like me finally, Miss Vernell. Oh snap! It's been a minute. How you doing, Miss Vernell? It was like me finally accepting the fact that my vision is changing and I'm not gonna be able to play certain video games anymore. And then it was like 2019, Borderlands 3 release, Kingdom Hearts 3 release, everything else that I've been waiting literally almost a decade for to release has released. And then I was like, wow, and I can't play any of it. I actually ended up getting Borderlands 3 maybe a few months ago, and I beat that. I beat the main story. And then last night or the night before, I went to Walmart and I got this Kingdom Hearts 3. And, you live a little bit more life, and then what you think is the end of the world turns out to be something that isn't even necessarily going to be that much of a influencing factor later. Now I can actually play these games, and I never would have thought I would have been able to. He's been celebrating Passover since he was young and calculated the Passover for this year is April 26th. This is the first year Easter doesn't fall in the same time as Passover. Oh, girl. Okay. I don't know anything about that. But it sounds interesting. I mean, a 13-month year sounds like some kind of transitional energy, right? So now let's get into the Three of Swords. Do I feel like reading this? Not really. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. There's something here about rusting because the swords there are rusted. Like that's not blood. It may look like blood, but it's rusted. And one of these swords stands apart from the others. And it's like, if things kind of sort of rust naturally anyway. But you're good. Glad to hear it, Miss Fernell. But if it doesn't move, then it's like it rusts quicker. I mean, you did just say Passover and Easter. This is looking a little. It's looking a little resurrection-y today. It's reminding me of like a Vision Quest type of energy. And then there's elements of fire and ice in both of these. There are three roses here. The three roses remind me of the Keeper from the Spirit Keeper's Tarot. The Keeper is the awakened fool. An awakened fool would definitely be a sort of hangman type of energy. But it's a fool that it's like it saw everything, it took in things, it integrated something from the magician to the world at every step, but it didn't integrate the things that would make it feel better. It's almost like a fool that went through the journey and became a hermit instead of becoming the what's the opposite of a hermit? What's the word for a person that travels a lot? Uh what's that? In chocolate, I think they called him that word. A traveler? It's like a fool that became a hermit instead of a traveler. And so it rusts. It decays inside, it doesn't go anywhere. And then judgment is here. But I think judgment is here to signify it being like, if we're stuck, if we're stagnant, if there's decay around us, at a certain point, that's on us. If you've been on a healing journey for a certain amount of time, it's like you've experienced whatever you needed to experience, you've seen whatever you needed to see to progress forward. If you're noticing a lack of progression, it's on you. Because you're not taking things in a way that will move you forward. It's like the things that you choose to focus on, that's going to be your experience. The way that you choose to interact with it, how you take it in, and what you convince yourself that the world is going to be, that's going to be your world. And if you want different, you have to do differently. The world card and the fool at the cut. Yeah, see everything from the fool to the world. But it's like you've taken all the classes. You've passed all the tests, but but you haven't learned anything. It's like, did you learn anything, or were you just like regurgitating information? And that's the difference between like studying to get an A and studying to like actually retain knowledge. And it's about retention. It reminds me of Minos' son, the one who like died and then was brought back to life. And then Minos told the dude that he had to teach his son divination in order to be released. So he taught his son divination. He fulfilled that contract, but before he left, he told Minos' son to spit in his mouth. And when he did, he lost all of that information. Yeah. Oh, gosh. What just, come on. I ain't trying to lose no cards. The Hierophant at the bottom of the deck. Girl, is this a good Hierophant or a bad Hierophant? Are you a good Hierophant or a bad Hierophant? I mean, it speaks of inheritance, honestly. It speaks of something passed down between generations. But is it good? Who knows? The Nine of Pentacles came out in reverse. The Sun, the Ace of Cups, the Prince of Cups, and the King of Swords came out. Hey, look, there's Odin. Oh, that makes sense. Mithras. That's the okay. All right. I was like, what? There's something about the heart here that's important. That's where the lion is, right? The High Priestess, the Five of Wands, the Ten of Cups, and the Emperor are under this Hierophant. But I saw the High Priestess and the Emperor. I'm looking to see if like I don't know aura colors, but the auras, it's like golden, yellow, green, and then like blue. I guess green is the heart, but is a green aura connected to the heart? I'm looking for something. I'm looking for some heart here, and ain't no heart. This is an energy. It's like it misses the point. Oh, that makes sense. It misses the point. Just like the fool who went from the magician to the world, but like missed the point everywhere along the way. Or maybe not everywhere along the way, right? Let's not be so absolute, right? Nothing is absolutely one thing or another. But there are certain key points that have been misinterpreted or just forgotten about. And one of those key points being like you were, what is it, wonderfully and fearfully made, perfectly as you are. And it's not for you to be less you or you to be less light because of a world that at the time isn't capable of it. Now, the world was what the world was, and the world is going to be what it's coming to be. And so, who we were and who we are and who we will be is in a space of transition. I think the Hierophant here, it's like telling us in some ways that, like, not to be locked into who we have been. What did you say? You and your mom talked on Sunday about hoarding shopping that runs in your family. You've been doing better, but she's still fighting the addiction. You're holding us accountable. Well, somebody's got to break it, right? Or you could just like find out why it's a thing, right? Go a little deeper, and it's like, well, why do we like shop? Why do we like hoard? Because then, if you can address that issue, then it would probably be easier to not shop and hoard things rather than just like brute forcing it, right? Potentially. So the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. It's an energy of foundation, poverty consciousness, and filling some individual void. Yeah. But it's not, it's like it's a foundation, but it's not a great one. Again, that's that like misinterpreting. That's the coming to the point that we've come to, but we need to like sort of backtrack. We need to be open to relearning some of these things because the sun is here. The sun brings with it all of the zodiac signs. Every planet in our solar system orbits around the sun. We only see the planets in the sky because of the sun. Like we're only aware of the other planets because of the sun. Without the sun, we wouldn't be able to see them. Right? We only see the moon because of the sun. We only see each other. We only see ourselves because of the sun. But through the zodiac, there's also an energy of not only cycles, but also maturation. Right? And I think it's that directly sort of contends with this Hierophant energy because the Hierophant maintains itself through generations. It doesn't change, but everything goes through series. Everything goes through seasons and periods and cycles. Everything is subjected to change, but this energy is too rigid. It doesn't support it. And that's why this Nine of Pentacles is in reverse. It's a Nine of Pentacles that's like, it's very solid, but it's not disaster proof. And so like this Nine of Pentacles is like one bad day. It's one accident from like losing literally everything it has. And I know they say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's like, you know, things, it's okay to like improve upon certain things, right? And then there's the Ace of Cups with the Prince of Cups. Oh my gosh, I love it. Because in the Ace of Cups here, it speaks of sacrifice. It speaks of sacrifice because of the blood. Jesus bled on the cross. He died on the cross to give us a fighting chance, but also to introduce a certain element of, I don't want to say understanding, but it's like, it's almost like, there are certain things that you wouldn't think are that hard. And there are certain people that you listen to and that you trust, right? And so it's like, okay, well, I'm a put one of my people on this, and I'm gonna see what they say. And then that person's like, yeah, it's actually pretty difficult. And it's like, oh, okay, like, maybe I'll sort of like, I don't want to say lighten up a little bit, but it speaks of sacrifice. But in the Prince of Cups, the cup is clean. And then we see the butterflies there. And then there's the big butterfly coming out there, right? Right there. That looks similar to this butterfly right here, up there, if you can see it. And it's like that sacrifice was made a long time ago. The price was paid a long time ago. It's not something that we necessarily have to still actively to this day continue to pay, right? That was literally the whole point of the crucifixion, is so that we didn't have to pay anymore. It was already paid for us. This again, it's that energy of like, it's almost like keeping us in a position that we're not necessarily in anymore. Like that was literally the whole point. And then it ends with the King of Swords. Oh, look, there are the runes. The runes from the Ace of Swords that were all over the place. That go, yeah, yeah. No, like they've all found a place. And the Ace of Swords, they're all nebulous and flying all over the place. At the King of Swords, they found a position, right? What's interesting is that this is also a card of sacrifice. Odin sacrificed a lot to get the knowledge that he got. He sacrificed an eye. He hanged himself from the world tree. He did all kinds of stuff. And like, don't get me wrong, it's not for us to be like, to not try. But for the most part, like the price was already paid. That's why we can wear mixed fabrics and we are okay, right? And we can eat shellfish or whatever, and we don't go to the bad place necessarily, right? But there's a part of it somewhere. And that's the thing about man that kind of sort of picks and chooses, or the part of man that will mistranslate or that will retranslate. But the truth should be there, right? Like, and that's the purpose of the Hierophant. The purpose of the Hierophant is to get you closer to the Creator. The purpose of the Hierophant is not to rule over man as if it is some kind of king. But that's what Hierophant energy came to be when certain churches got power back in the day, right? And then to maintain that power and to also preserve and conserve certain things, it's like it rotted at some point. It rusted. And it's also a lot of times we approach, not a lot of times, but sometimes when we approach spiritual or religious energies, it's like a self-fulfilling type of thing, right? I think that's why appreciation is a little bit in reverse, because it becomes about like getting more stuff or getting a person rather than like everything else that it symbolizes, right? And it reminds me of that one scripture. It might be Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and all of its righteousness, and all of these things shall be added unto you. It's like if you seek out the divine more than the things, you'll get the things sort of included. And again, that's maybe another bit of that, not necessarily misattribution, but the perspective that we take as we go through spiritual journeys, as we go through certain journeys, what we're willing to do and what we're not willing to do, right? If we're not willing to forgive, then there may be quite a few things that you miss out on. And forgiveness is, talk to your creator about that. Forgiveness isn't necessarily letting people like hurt you again. But it's like that self furtherment, that stuff based perspective as we approach religion and spirituality, as we go through the journey from the magician to the world. It's all about like, how can I get more money? How can I get this job? How can I get this person? And it's like a and then it's like it's very transactional, right? And energies in the divine, it's not necessarily a person, but if that's all you're focused on when you go through that, that's all you're going to get out of it. And there's so much more that was offered. But like that's the thing about Odin though, right? Because he actually, hey, the high 963, what they say? Oops, I'm like all up on my mic. Oh, sorry. Hello. That's the thing about Odin though. Well, in a certain way, because Odin also like did it for power and stuff like that, right? So that's not necessarily like the best necessarily energy. But there was a certain element of learning here. Maybe that's why this Prince of Cups is coming in though. It's like there is a certain bit of this energy, but there's also this energy where we're serving higher purposes, right? Like one is grounded into the ground with the sword. The other one is like flying high with the butterflies. There's change here. And I think it's about balancing both energies or managing both energies. I want just one of these. Oh, who is this? Oh, yep. Prince of Cups. I love that. Bottom of the deck, or bottom of the stack, is the Three of Swords. Both of these together, especially with the butterfly signifying change, it brings in a Valkyrie like energy. It brings in an energy of like, I've seen how you've suffered. And it's like, you don't have to do that anymore. Like, you fought well. Now lay down the sword and move on. Like, your time on these battlefields has come to an end. But, oh, snap. Well, there's four roses. You see how in the Three of Swords they're white and they got a little bit of red from the rest? In the Prince of Cups, they're all red. Where can you get a personal reading? I am not doing personal readings right now, unfortunately. Yeah. I'm not doing them right now. But if I do, again, I'll post a video with my email in the description box. And I'll say I'm doing it for however long I'm doing it. But I hope you find someone who gives you what you need. Um, It's like going through this was a part of the process from the white to the red. But at some point, there's like a little bit of an alchemization that happens, right? Because it goes from, well, that's iron, right? Iron is what gives blood its red color. And oxidized iron is rust. So it deoxidizes it and it turns it back into the iron. And that's it's blueberries. What is it? Antioxidants. It's an antioxidizing energy or a deoxidizing energy. Oh, this is it's he came out. Zachriel. Zachriel, Angel of Memory. This is Zachriel, Angel of Memories. That's his energy. Because it reminded me of a redox reaction. And in a redox reaction, one thing is reduced, the other thing is oxidized. It's a trade-off. And it was that energy of like, you know, to pour into the cup. It's like you have to empty the cup of remembrance. You have to get rid of old memories to make room for new memories. I forget how it was said, but it's that energy. You have to get rid of the old to make room for the new. And again, through the colors, you can see that it's all a part of the process. The body and its metabolic processes are so incredibly complicated, and there are certain things that our body needs, but we don't naturally produce it. And so we have a dependency on our environment to provide for us the things that we can't provide for ourselves. Just like we rely on certain things to happen outside of us to trigger things within us. But it's not for us to get all bent out of shape necessarily. And again, a lot of it is it's understandable, right? Like we go through tough stuff. It's not that you're not supposed to be completely unaffected. And it's not that you're not supposed to grieve and you're not supposed to be sad and you're supposed to be happy all the time. But it's like, just like the world continues turning, just like things continue to grow, like so should we. And that's the synergy here. But unfortunately, with this Three of Swords, it looks like some of that darkness has started to take root. Right? But again, it doesn't necessarily have to end that way. I like that. That was a little rough, but you know, it'd be like that sometimes. Apparently that's a thing lately, but it's fine. So let's get final messages. Oop, look, the devil at the cut. Let him go, leave him be. Oh, the Hierophant was just at the bottom. Sometimes devil and the Hierophant, it's like two sides of the same coin. That's why you got to be careful. Because some Hierophant energies will have you doing some ghastly things. And if you really stop to think about it, it's like, I know that this message is coming from a Hierophant right now, but like, where's the love? Like, where's the higher? Where's the better? Where's the progression? Where's the forgiveness and the healing and the progression and the movement? Where's the turning the cycle towards something better instead of just keeping it stuck on stagnant? I remember back in the day, those WWJD bracelets were so hot. Everybody had one. What Would Jesus Do was everywhere. And then at some point, it was like, F what Jesus would do. Shoot, I'm trying to pay my bills. I'm trying to have this nice life. I'm trying to have this. I'm trying to have that. Jesus didn't have anything when he was here. I don't want to live like Jesus. I want stuff. And it's like, wow, okay. It's an over-exaggeration. But, I mean, there are so many cultures and religions and spiritual systems that teach and preach that God is love. And that love is so absent in some of the things that a lot of people do under those teachings or with the name of those teachings. And it's like if this is what you're being taught, or if this is what is being condoned by the hierophant that you subscribe to, fair. But also, at what point do you learn the divine enough? Do you connect to the divine enough that it's like maybe this thing that is completely void of any kind of love or respect for somebody else isn't quite it. But a lot of times, some like people don't even question it. It confirms biases that they already have, more or less. It's like, okay, well, 10 of Cups with the Tower. Ooh, 10 of Cups in the Tower. Allow your story to be rewritten. Just 45 on the clock. Just give yourself up to life, girl. Just be vulnerable. You'll be happier. I don't know, I'm happier. Or not. It's your life. You make your choices and decisions. Okay, here we go. Oh, I love it. Oh, gosh. Okay. Oh, snap. So we're starting with Temperance and the Wheel, 14 and 10. Both of these energies, this is a more active energy. The Alchemist is mixing these two. This is a more passive energy. The seasons and the cycles just change here. There's a little bit of it's like when you cook something at high altitudes, the cooking directions are different. There's a little bit of that energy here. When we elevate into different spaces, as we continue our healing journey and as we come across whatever we come across, the ratios aren't necessarily going to always be the same. Because the environment isn't always going to be the same. And when the environment changes, it has an effect on certain reactions. Sometimes it makes them more difficult to perform. Sometimes it makes it easier, and that's why you don't have to cook it as long. Someone told me that I can't love God and my ancestors, one or the other, under a comment I left on YouTube. People tickle me so much. First off, you aren't about to tell me what I can and can't do. I don't. Yeah, I'm like, okay. And I think like sometimes I'll look at certain things and I'll be like, well, it's well intentioned, I guess, potentially. But like when it comes to groups like the Westboro Baptist Church, who are, like super homophobic, it's like, I don't know if I necessarily believe a message of like, I'm trying to save your soul while someone is like spewing hate. Like that's where it kind of gets lost for me. Like I could give you the benefit of the doubt, but once you start like going too far in, then it's like, okay, well, I don't know, sis. It don't look like there's any love in this to me. It bothers you so much that you can openly express your belief in love. Wait. That I can openly express my belief in love. That's your problem. Exactly. So there's something here in rebalance. There's something here in knowing like how things change in different spaces, right? And maybe that's it's Sagittarius and it's Jupiter. Maybe that's the like intercultural awareness that a Sagittarian Jupiterian energy can possess, that it knows that things are different in different places. And a highly aligned Sagittarian energy doesn't go to Italy and demand that things be done the way that they're done in Jamaica or China or Japan or America or any other place, right? Highly aligned Sagittarian energy goes to Italy and expects for things to be done in an Italian way. And there's something here. Oh, look, there's that heart again. There's the heart again. There's something here about appreciation and balance. But there's also something here with the Wheel of Fortune. I think it comes through an awareness of self, right? Because you can have an appreciation for, or have a respect for the way that something is done in a different part of the world, but not necessarily do it yourself, right? Maybe there's also another energy here that's like, not everything is for consumption, right? Not everything is within your right to have some kind of claim of ownership to. And I think it's to be okay with that, especially for things that hold certain cultural significances. It's like, let something be sacred to somebody else. It doesn't all have to be yours. Potentially. Or again, it's that respect. Next is the Ace of Wands with Judgment and the Two of Swords. Ace of Wands, Judgment, and Two of Swords. It's like, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you necessarily should. Just because you want something doesn't necessarily mean that it's yours to have. And a lot of times it goes back to that covetous energy that I feel like I read that recently. Maybe it was when I was looking up the 10 Commandments. It's like, accept that certain things are for other people and they're not necessarily for you. That's why one of the 10 Commandments is that you shouldn't covet thy neighbor's possessions or thy neighbor's wife or whatever, right? Because it's like, thirdly, you don't care if you worship a foot, pray to a cow. You're looking at your morals and heart. It's like, there's so much reverence, I guess, and culturally, there are so many things that go behind a thing. Like, something can symbolize so many things. And again, with this temperance energy, it's like, without a certain cultural background or without a certain awareness, it's like it brings a lot of disrespect to certain things. Potentially, right? And also, I mean, appreciation in reverse. If you're coveting what everybody else has, if you're not appreciating what you have, it doesn't serve you. It keeps you seeking things outside of yourself, and it makes it probably more difficult for you to find love and appreciation for yourself and for what you have, and to focus on building what you have instead of constantly being in competition and comparison with other people. Bottom of the deck is the Sun. They say that the grass is greenest where you water it. And a lot of times we don't even water our own grass because we're so busy in somebody else's yard. Right? And that can apply in any number of ways. Right? You can be covetous of someone's success. And it's like, you're looking at the mansion, you're looking at the cars, you're looking at the success, the fame on the outside. But what you're not coveting, what you're not envying is like all of the failures, all of the nights going to sleep, maybe brokenhearted, maybe like literally falling apart, trying everything you can to get something to work. Like, no one envies the struggle. They only envy the success. But like, you're not necessarily going to get the success without the struggle. There's something very partial and very like, it doesn't see it fully. And all of this, it's like, it's not seen fully. And then it's like, if you knew how hard some people had to work to get where they are, to the spot where that you're coveting them, if you knew their entire journey, you probably wouldn't even want it. You probably go, like, I had to go through all that for that long. Like, to me, it's not worth it. I can find another way to my success. I ain't got to spend 20 years failing and falling in all kinds of different directions until I finally get it. I can find what I'm supposed to find for myself now and get to my sun a lot quicker. No offense, all of our journeys are our own journeys, but it's like, I don't need all that, right? If I'm already struggling, So let me struggle towards, finding my own success rather than struggle towards going through somebody else's struggle. And now I'm going through two struggles trying to get somebody else's success, and it may not even ever get there. Right? It's not that necessarily some roads are like after you pass through certain gates, then they close. But I was just watching a show. It's like Bakugan, whatever. It's on TV. And they were like, there was this one character who approached the gate. And I was like, oh, the person already went through this checkpoint. So you're going to have to find another checkpoint, because once somebody goes through this checkpoint, it's closed. And it's like we keep trying to get through checkpoints that are closed, or keep trying to imitate or do what other people are doing, when it's like the divine made you, not somebody else. And if you can't appreciate yourself, if you do claim the success, it's probably going to be fairly hollow. And you may end up being one of those people that has all the money and all the fame and all the cars, but also like drug problems and addictions, and you can't keep your family together. And it's like, money is ruining my family. Money is tearing my family apart. And it's like, is it the money, or is it like other stuff? Because maybe your family was falling apart before the money. So, and it's not to be like laughing and dismissive, but again, it's like we seek and we crave things that don't give us the fulfillment that we need. And when we have a spiritual or religious philosophy that is all about getting stuff, getting money, getting the love of your life or whatever, you miss out on all the fulfillment. So what good does the person or the money do if you're still miserable at the end of the day after you have it? Like, I'd rather go through one struggle, learn everything I need to, and then enjoy the rest of my days, right? But that's just me personally. I can be admittedly a little lazy. I got a lot of Taurus in my chart. Not saying that Taurus is lazy. I also got Pisces in my chart. I got like heavy sleeping in my chart. Also a little bit of Cancer. My Mars is in Cancer. So, if I could be comfortable doing something, then that's what I do sometimes. But that's that like impartial knowing, right? But people really be like, man, I wish I had their life. I wish I did this. I wish I had that. And you don't see what that person looked like behind closed doors. You don't see what their life looked like. You could be envying something that you don't even really want. Girl, that's why I'm like, let me find my own little way. Like, as long as I'm happy and as long as I'm fulfilled, I'm good. And honestly, a lot of days I'm good. Most days I'm good. Like 99% of the days I'm good. Every now and then I'm like, oh, I should really be looking for a job, because I mean, life. But besides that, I've been good for a minute. And I used to get depressed like all the time. I don't think I've been full depressed since like 2019. Like, there have been some unfortunate things. I've been sad. But I don't know, the sad for me, I think it's rarely lasted past a day. And if it does last past a day, then it's like, but like, I know I can't stay here. So I'm not going to get full depressed. I'm going to take a moment to honor what I'm feeling and to grieve whatever loss, or to grieve whatever disappointment, or to grieve whatever, right? But I don't have to be lost to it. And I don't have to be like, oh, nothing will ever work out for me. Like, this is my luck. I never get the job. I never get the person. Why is the universe so cruel to me specifically when, everybody got something that they're dealing with? Girl. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Okay, what'd you say? All the laid back signs, exactly. You got all the restless. I got restless on my notes. I think Gemini and Sagittarius. I don't know if Sagittarius is necessarily restless, but yes. I mean, my hair needs some actual work. My scalp was dry. I was treating a charcoal detox, as if it was moisturizing and conditioning. So I was just letting it sit on my head, and it was stripping my hair of everything, every oil that kept it not dead. And I was doing it for a minute before I realized that it was literally like, it dried me out so much I got like burned. And now I'm like, oh girl, how did I not know? My mom was like, did you not read the instructions? I'm like, no, I just assumed it said conditioner on the bottle, so I just assumed it was moisturizing, But it's coming together, it's healing. Now that I've recognized, I can stop using that. Okay. Anxiety and the door to spirit at the cut. That's interesting. Okay, let's see what's coming out. Who that? The man holding a coin with the angel of love in the bottom of the deck, and then walking away in reverse. Man holding a coin with the angel of love in reverse. I mean, honestly, that's being more focused on physical 3D things. It's being more focused on acquiring or accumulating status rather than like what actually matters. And, surprise, surprise, it doesn't lead to much happiness or fulfillment. Money can make sure that you ain't homeless and that you're not starving and, that you can go on a trip if you want to. But that's about the extent of what money can do. Right? For everything else, there's MasterCard. I'm just playing. I haven't thought about that in a long time. For everything else, there's MasterCard. All right, that's what I got. It was a little hot. It was a little fiery today, but that's fine because honestly, we're coming into a season of prosperity and abundance and a lot of stuff. But again, it's like when the game changes, when the situation changes, when the environment changes, then you gotta relearn some stuff. And people were like, oh, back in my day, things was like this. And back in my day, things was like that. And, when I was growing up, we can do this. Well, I hate to break it to you, but nowadays is nowadays, and your time, that time is past. So, what can you do today to give you some fulfillment, right? To get you even closer to the space that you want to be in and not the space that you came out of like 10 years ago. Like that's probably not going to happen. And even if it does happen, it's probably significantly different enough now if it's to last into the future. It's probably significantly different enough now that it's not going to fall the same way it fell the first time, right? You got to get back up and learn to ride the bike, I guess. I don't know. Lots more maxims and aphorisms and metaphors and things like that. I think maxim is the word I want, right? I'm pretty sure it is. Hey Siri, define maxim.
One sec. Maxim means a short, pithy statement expressing a general truth or rule of conduct.
Yep. Maxims, axioms, aphorisms, sayings, metaphors. A link to the video where the guy talks about this being a 13. Honestly, no, I'm good, Mimi. I'm like, I'm not burnt out on other stuff, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't think it would, I don't know, it's not necessarily something that, well, I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm good. But that's what I got for y'all. Hope y'all have a good whatever whenever you see this. Yeah, I know. And I know like I've been hearing people like, oh, we're coming into a time of 13 instead of 12. And honestly, like for a minute, I got a lot of water and earth in my chart. So I try to make my spirituality practical. And so for me, it's like, I don't know. I'd rather live experiences in ways that get me to like progress forward rather than like having just more information that I don't really know what to do with or like what it means. It's like I'm done trying to piece puzzles together. I'm just trying to do something that works, I guess, if that makes sense. But I also know that, there are different journeys for everybody. So yeah, I don't think I've studied a lot of stuff recently. When's the last time I studied something? Well, I read these books. When I pull the card, sometimes I read the book. And like if I come across something, if somebody talks about something, then I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. You're following your exploration. Yeah. Yeah. For me though, because it's like I'm the type of person that can accumulate a lot of knowledge but never do anything with it. I'm fairly stagnant. Not stagnant. Um, I don't necessarily move a lot. And I think a lot of times I can divert more energy towards like acquiring information than like utilizing information and doing something with it. And like I get really interested in learning stuff. But at the end of the day, especially now, I'm in a period in my life where I need to start doing more. And so that's why I'm like, you know, well, like, let me actually do something. Yeah. That's why I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Well, honestly, sometimes I'm like, I don't know what this is. Okay. But yeah. Thank you, though. So, well, actually, because my South Node is in Gemini and my North Node is in Sagittarius. So maybe it is for me to be a little bit more studied, but I need to start doing something. Maybe I don't. I don't know what I need to do. Maybe I'll look it up. Maybe I won't. I don't know. All right. Well, I'll catch y'all later. I hope y'all have a good one. Whenever you see this, I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I know it's difficult. I know it's not great, but I hope that you can find a way to contextualize the events in your life in a way that put you in a healed and truly empowered state. I think a lot of times we can take certain perspectives to make ourselves feel empowered or to like try to reverse the dynamic. But you can also tell like when a healing has actually occurred, I guess. Because a lot of times it's like, if something happens to us and it puts us in a vulnerable state, we may be like, oh, I don't want to be the victim anymore. I'm going to be in charge of my story. And so like what happens is we do a complete 180 because of that event. So it's like you may be doing something different, but your actions are still purely motivated by what happened. And the thing about the broken heart in reverse and the Three of Swords and the Hanged Man is it's like there are certain things that we go through to learn, but it's not necessarily to be changed by those things. And it's not to be fully motivated by those things in ways that bring us out of our true authentic expression of who we are. So yeah, it's a lot of, I feel like, little things, honestly. Started with a lot of big things, then it gets to little things, more subtle things. And for me personally, I was like, man, like if I let this go, then like, honestly, I wasn't though. Because by the time it came to my awareness, I was like, oh, yeah, I don't need this anymore. And I can realize how this has actually been hurting me. And I don't want to hurt anymore. So I'm going to just let this go. I realize that this is something that I could continue to buy into, but I also realize that I don't have to. And honestly, my life has been richer because of it. And it hasn't been richer in like a superficial way. It's not richer because I'm like ignoring things. It's richer because the things that I used to carry, it's been proven that I no longer have to carry it. And me carrying those things caused me to add a lot of extra tension or a lot of extra weight to situations that didn't necessarily require it. So shout out to my little Libran buddy for helping me practice that healing. It's like if I could do it with him, I could do it with anybody. um, yeah. So that's what I got. I'll catch y'all later. Would you say you feel less resistance to making the decisions instead of not making one and straddling the fence? Yeah, your body feels lighter and your thoughts. I'm glad to hear it. I feel like it's definitely a time. And I guess, it's also because in a lot of ways, the world in which we lived, where we had to carry so much, it's coming to a point where it doesn't necessarily have to be the same. A lot of folks are becoming a lot more aware of certain things. Things are a lot of people are really starting to desire certain things. Like when things started to break down and there were certain ways that things had to be. For example, like for some people who had jobs that they probably knew could have been remote, but their bosses, managers, employees, CEOs, employers, CEOs were like, oh no, there's no way that you have to come into the office. But because everything changed, it's like, well, now maybe they can work from home. And moving forward, maybe it won't be fully work from home. Maybe it'll be partially work from home. But that flexibility to work from home may open them up to experience certain things that they wouldn't have experienced if they had to constantly go into the office, right? The environment is changing. And in some ways it's changing in like some ways that it should have changed a long time ago. But time is irrelevant. What matters is that now things are positioned to be in such a way that they weren't necessarily positioned to be before. And so don't hold yourself to navigating through and operating in the world in the same way. Why would you keep yourself? Okay, maybe that's not a great analogy because some people genuinely like are about that life. But it's like, why would you keep yourself in 1873 when you can live in like 2021? Right? We have like electricity, indoor plumbing, heating and air, girl. The internet is pretty great. It can also be terrible, but a lot of things can be good or bad depending on how you use it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's like it's your choice. And it goes beyond what you want because it's also what are you willing to do to get it. And a lot of times it's easier for our metaphorical eyes to be bigger than our metaphorical stomachs, right? We want more, we desire more than we're actually willing to heal or to work through. And I don't know. It's your life. You make your own choices and decisions. I make my choices and decisions, and that's all I got to worry about. All right, so I'll close this off. It was good to see you, Mimi, and 963. Thank you for popping in. If you watch this later, sorry I couldn't. I'm not sorry, actually. I'm not sorry that I couldn't read for you because I'm not doing it right now. But I do hope that you find whatever you're looking for. Whatever you need, I genuinely hope you find it. So with that, I'm going to close this down. Have a good whatever, everybody. Bye.